Hi Stampers, this is Sarah with StinkinCuteCards.com, and I'm going to share with you the first of September's Hostess Club cards. And it's a gorgeous day here in the studio today. It's actually rainy, and I love rainy days, so maybe you can even hear the rain on my roof. But I do have the dogs are a little afraid of thunder, and so unfortunately, they're cowering right next to my feet. So hopefully we can get through this video and I can show you the Hostess Club card for September. The first one we're making is using the Serene Scenery designer paper. I love this paper. It is one of those that is probably easily overlooked in the catalog, but the beauty of it is that it has a real subtle print on one side and then a more dramatic photo, a realistic looking photo on the other side. So it's just really quite nice. I think you'd have some fun with it. That's kind of the on trend right now, and pretty neat. So we're going to be using two stamp sets to finish this card. We're going to be using Sweet Seasons, and I believe that's on page 43 of the holiday catalog. And then we're going to be using Heartfelt Sympathy. This is just a real nice sympathy set. It's got some great it has some nice images as well as some nice sayings. So we're just going to go ahead and use that. Let me tell you what you're going to need for cardstock. You're going to be using a little piece of the Ribbon Trio ribbon that is in the holiday catalog. It's on page 47. We're going to need a piece of soft suede. It is going to be 4 1/4 by 11 inches scored at 5 1/2. We're going to need a piece of Delightful Dijon, and I have cut that one at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 as well, and I've run it through the Softly Falling embossing folder. You're also going to need a piece of the Very Vanilla, the same side, and we're going to use that for the inside. You're going to be using a piece of the Serene paper, and that is 2 1/2 by 4 1/2, and you're going to need a mat of the Very Vanilla, so that's 2 3/4 by 4 3/4, and then you need the banners. This one is vellum. It's 2 inches by 3 3/4, and this is Very Vanilla. It's 1 1/2 by 3 7/8. So let's just go ahead and get started and finish this card. The first step that we're going to do is we are going to adhere the Delightful Dijon to the soft suede. We are going to adhere the designer paper. Now, when I cut this at 2 1/2 by 4 1/2, that will give me two cards per sheet of paper because they're 6 by 6. So that's kind of nice because what it does is it allows you to make at least 8 cards from one image because there are 4 sheets per pack. I also used the wheat. As you can see, I thought the dandelion and the wheat, they have the same colors and kind of the same sentiment. So we're going to go ahead and use both of those. All right, then I want to attach this to my card front using dimensionals, so we're going to go ahead and put those on and put that right here on the left hand side. So there's our card base. It's coming along quite nicely. All right, the next step is to emboss our images or our saying, our sentiment. I'm going to go ahead and use the Embossing Buddy. This is one of those kind of forgotten tools. It's been around forever, but it's probably like a powder in a little baggie, and what it does is when you run it over your vellum or cardstock, it eliminates any extra static cling. That way, when you go ahead and stamp and add your powder, any extra cling there will allow the powder just to fall directly off. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp the Sending You Thoughts of Comfort with Versamark ink. And then we are going to go ahead and add some powder here. I've got the copper powder. This copper powder is phenomenal. Make sure you order some today. Do you see how that just falls right off? Any spare extra, that way you won't have stray flecks of powder when you go ahead and emboss it. So okay, so what I've done is I've just quickly embossed this with the heat tool and the copper powder. I'm going to use the triple banner punch, and we're going to go ahead and just feed that right in there. And so what I've got is just a real nice little banner. I'm going to do the same thing with the smaller of the two. That one should fit right there in the center of the other two. And so what I've got is just a real nice little banner to add to my image. Okay, So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little adhesive right behind here on the vellum. I don't have a vellum adhesive with me today, so what I do on occasions when I don't have a vellum, I'm going to put it where I can hide it. I'm going to hide it with the ribbon. A lot of times you can hide it with another layer, different things like that, but I'm just going to add the ribbon. And oof, this one is a little small. I'm going to show you a trick. So we're going to do a faux bow here. We're just going to wrap this around the front. Cut off the extra. Okay, and then I'm just going to knot this right on there. That way you don't need to use quite as much ribbon. And the beauty of this one, it's still pretty tight. The beauty of this is that your ribbon can be moved. It lays quite flat, and your ribbon can be moved. And we just go. So there you go. And we're just going to attach that to the top of the card. And we're going to put that right here like that. And there is the front. So now it's just a matter of going ahead and adding up the inside. So we're just going to stamp our saying. Again, I'm going to use the embossing buddy so that I don't have stray copper. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the "May you be comforted." And again, it just falls directly off. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I just went ahead and embossed the heartfelt sympathy saying of my choice on the front of my, or on my inside. And I'm just going to add a little schnibble of designer paper just to give it a little bit of a visual interest on the inside. And trim that off. Close to the end here. All right, we're going to go ahead and add that inside right there, lining it up. So there you go, just a real quick and simple sympathy card, sending you thought or thinking of you card, and done in either the dandelions or the wheat. So, thanks again. This is Sarah with StinkinCuteCards.com, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, or questions about Hostess, joining Hostess Club, we can do it remotely. Again, visit my website, StinkinCuteCards.com. Thanks.